In this episode, my next guest shares how one email led him to perform on stage with my dance company. Stick around for a conversation about collaboration and communication and how it can further your career. Ciao, I'm Anna Harsh, professional dancer, author, and host of The Dance Floor, a podcast that explores the power of dance in our lives through personal stories and interviews with experts. Each episode shares life lessons and advice through the art of dance. Learn how dance inspires confidence, fosters connection, and ways to improve your skills. Whether you are a seasoned dancer or brand new to the art, you'll find something that motivates you in this podcast. So grab your dance shoes and join me on the dance floor. Welcome back, listeners. I have Mr. Sean Amato with me. He's back on the dance floor, singer, dancer, actor, I think guitarist and writer at this point. Sean, welcome back to the dance floor.
Thank you for having me.
Sean, I know you're right in the middle of doing a lot of theater right now. Tell the audience where you are right now.
Yeah, sure. So past December, I just closed White Christmas, and I came back to Long Island, New York to perform in Dorothy's Adventures in Oz at Theater 3. I'll be playing the Cowardly Lion, which is a lot of fun. This will be my third time playing the role. In addition to that, I'm working on a show coming up in May 4th that you and I have talked about, Anna. Hopefully, I'll have some more details about that soon. And yeah, audition season has come upon us. I've been auditioning like crazy. It's that time of year. In addition to theater, I've been doing a lot of TV and film. I've been working for a few different companies that I'm not at liberty to say just yet because there is, they got to release the stuff. And then I'll be working definitely on two other films. One I'll be filming in late March and one I'll be filming in late May. Both of those I can't talk about yet, but I'm really excited about it. And I'll be producing another film on my own as well.
I love the sneak peeks. I know you've been up to so much, as you said, and I too am in musical theater season. I am working on choreography for a musical for one of the high schools in West Virginia. You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown at John Marshall High School. So that goes up at the end of March. And so we are learning fiercely. And it's a really, really cute musical if you haven't seen it before. If you love the cartoon Charlie Brown and the Snoopy and all of those peanut characters, you will fall in love with this musical. So today I wanted to talk about a little bit about collaboration and communication. You and I both know how big those two pillars are in the arts community. So tell us what led you to Allegro. I know you sent a little note or found us.
Yeah, so I found you guys on Instagram and I saw like one of your posts. It just came up on my feed and it was like, if you're interested in this company, if you want to dance and learn about Italian folk dance, like email us here. And I emailed you and I learned a little bit more about your company and I saw you guys were based in Pennsylvania and I thought, oh man, I'm in New York. I don't know how it's going to work out. But you got back to me. You're like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Come through, and we made it work. We had a back and forth. I appeared on your podcast once before after that back and forth. And then while I was working on a different contract in Pennsylvania, you and I worked out an appearance for me at one of the festivals in Clarksburg,
Yeah,
which,
I think so many performers out there maybe think like you did at first, oh gosh, that's too far away. There's no way I can perform with them or make this work. And I think that's where the collaboration comes in. Well, how can we make it work? And like you said, you were in Pennsylvania already, and I know it was a bit of a drive that night, but you made it work and we were able to house you. And the dancers were so excited to dance with you and pick your brain about, what life is like for you. And we really did learn from each other. And I think that's part of the collaboration is to keep learning from each other. I mean, you brought in some different skills and techniques, and backstage, I know I could use your help for sure. You were helping me organize costumes and getting props on and off stage, and that's your expertise. And so bringing these different skills to the table is part of that collaboration. What do you think about telling others? Like, how would you tell them to approach sending an email? What would you think?
yeah, send an email, send a DM. I think that the worst that anyone can do is say no. If you have someone you want to work with and you want to collaborate, you have to ask. They're not going to ask you. You have to be that person and be proactive and show up essentially. If you have a project that you want to work with, this person and this person and that person, you should ask them. You got to just either email them or if you have their number. Networking is a huge part of that. There's a saying that your network is your net worth. And that is one of the most true things I've ever heard in my career is that, you hear the stereotypical, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And that's correct to a degree, but it's part of that is being a good person, being someone that people want to work with.
And that's so true. Like you and I have introduced each other to even more people that we have met recently or other projects that I think, hey, I send your way. Hey, Sean, I think you might be really great for this, or, try that, or just somebody you might be interested in meeting. And that always leads you to something else. And that's how you build that career for sure.
Which I'm grateful for whenever you send me that stuff. And that's part of that is being a good person. Like you have to try your best to be a good person. Because if we had met and we had collaborated and you were like, I don't know about this guy, he's a little, you wouldn't be sending me those things. And
That's right.
vice versa. Like I enjoy working with you. We enjoy working with each other. So when I was not to do any spoilers yet, but when I started looking into the show on the 4th, I reached out to you. I was like, hey, I would love to bring you in and let's make this a performance and let's make this collaborative.
So let's talk about communication. Gosh, I know I have a master's degree in it, but I still learn every day of how different ways to communicate with a group, with an individual, especially if you're working on set. Maybe you want to speak to that because now you're getting into commercials, movies, and some bigger ideas and films. Collaborating is one thing, but communication on the set. Can you speak to a little bit about how we can help those out there to communicate better?
Certainly. So, right off the bat, you have to present yourself in an acceptable way. You have to show up, be polite, be professional. You don't want to be over the top. You don't want to just yes everyone to death because that can get you in some dicey situations. It can lead you to seeming disingenuous. You want to be a good person who's professional, who is happy to be there, easy to work with, and when someone asks you, what are your skills? Don't lie. Don't lie. I don't
Oh my
like to
gosh,
lie about my
amen.
skills. Yeah. So if I show up to set, now, I make sure that I introduce myself to whoever, I shake hands, make eye contact, don't act above anyone, don't act above anyone, which is a very important thing to do. A lot of people, sometimes they feel like they're a lead or whatnot. And, I've worked on sets where everyone was just a background character, but directors and lead roles have treated me as if I was the star, and I'm very grateful to that. And that's a set I would want to work on again. So as far as communicating, just being yourself, being professional, greeting people, shaking hands, saying hello, it's all very important.
Yeah, for sure. As you know, I always tell my dancers, please and thank you are the most powerful words before and after a show. Thank the people that worked on your show. Thank your partner that for dancing with you and anybody else that was working with you. All of those manners, like you were talking about, really do matter. So collaboration is one thing, but communication is another. So artists, if you're listening out there, you have to have both of those pillars that I've been talking about, these 5 different pillars. So, Sean, I'm going to review some of these pillars real quick and see if you have thoughts about maybe another pillar that I think are really important, especially to dancers, but I think that relates also to theater as well. So, the pillars are adaptability, discipline and dedication, collaboration and communication, embracing imperfection, and presence and mindfulness.
Yeah,
So,
no, those are huge. The one that sticks out to me the most is the discipline aspect because of that saying that discipline is destiny. You know,
yeah.
the only person that's going to truly hold you accountable to hone in on your craft is yourself. And then that ties in to you say accepting imperfections or along those lines.
Yeah, your imperfection. Sometimes
Yeah,
it's hard to
yeah,
face up that, hey, that show wasn't the best that you could do, but you
and
learn
just
from it.
yeah, accepting that you could have, like, there have been times I get off stage and I go, you know what, I could have done better. And it's not necessarily saying that I'm bad at what I do or that we're, it's just sometimes we have those days. We're all human, and
Sure.
you can't beat yourself up about it. You just have to sit back and go, okay, what can I do better? A good example is the last 2 contracts I had were very dance heavy, particularly in tap. And I did not start dancing until I got to college. And dance was never a huge part of my life till college. So I was in a very high caliber, talented cast. And I felt that I had to push myself a little bit harder than some of the others. And that's not to say I'm bad at what I do. That is not to say that I didn't belong there, but I definitely had to look at myself and say, okay, this is what I need to work on. This is what I need to do when I go home. This is how I have to practice. I'm here because I'm meant to be here, and I need to show why I'm meant to be here. And that's doing that in a healthy way is crucial, crucial for being successful as a performer or in any career, really.
Yeah, for sure. Each skill that we build, is just stacking and you get a little bit further because you learn from that mistake, like you said, or maybe I could brush up on my tap skills, or maybe I need to brush up on, learning my lines faster or whatever it is. All of those skills stack and that pushes you a little bit further in your career for sure. Okay, I know that there are a lot of pillars out there, but today we talked about collaboration and communication. Sean, what's the one piece of advice you think that that next generation or somebody that's auditioning like you are out there, what's that piece of advice, maybe using those pillars that you could share with us?
Well, some of the my favorite pieces of advice we already touched on: network is your net worth and discipline is destiny. But my favorite bit that my advisor in college said to me my freshman year at my end of the year evaluation, something that I carry with me everywhere, is he looked at me and said, "Do you believe you can be an actor?"
Ooh,
And I had just booked a summer stock gig, so I was feeling pretty good about myself. I sat there, I took a deep breath, I looked at the table, who all were looking at me eagerly, and I said, "Yes, yes, I do." And he said, "Good, show me, because I believe you can. But sometimes I feel like you don't believe. You get too frustrated, you get too bogged down, and it shows. And sometimes you don't always have the same confidence I know you can have.
yeah,
Show me you can be an actor, because if you don't believe, why should I?"
right.
And that's important because you want to be confident. You want to know that you can do this, but you don't want to be cocky. You don't want
Yeah.
to be obnoxious. But having that aura of, I can do this, I know what I'm capable of, I know when I walk into the room, I will be able to do this, is very important and is very crucial. And that goes for any career. That is not just an actor, singer, dancer. If you are a lawyer, walk into that courtroom and say, I went over my notes, I know what I'm going to do.
That's right. It's that confidence because it comes with practice. You've
Yeah.
already done the work, you put the work in, you've done the practice. So you should be confident enough for, your performance or for your class or speech or whatever you're giving for sure. And all of that speaks to, all of these pillars that I've been talking about this season. So we'll keep pushing all of these pillars and learning from them. And they're just 5 pillars that I chose to focus on for the season. I think they're the most important as performers go for sure. Being adaptable, as you and I both know, when we show up to a venue, sometimes it's not what you think.
Yeah.
The space might be a little smaller, might be really large, or you might have a different partner all of a sudden. You're like, okay, I have to adapt some choreography.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll talk about that in the future, Sean, but I am going to mention 2 things that is coming up really soon. And I know you're attending one of them with me in New York. Sunday, March 2nd at the Heinz History Center, I'm giving a Tarantella workshop. So that's Sunday, March 2nd from 1 to 4 p.m. I'm diving deep into different various Tarantellas at the Heinz History Center in Pittsburgh. And you can go to heinzhistorycenter.org to get your ticket for that. And then, like you said, Sunday, May 4th, and we'll have more information later about what you and I are planning. I'm giving another Tarantella workshop in the New York area. 2 p.m.
Again.
Long Island City School of Ballet in Long Island City, New York. And of course, you can get your tickets at annaharsh.com for that. Sean, any lasting words? Why should somebody attend maybe one of these workshops? I know you and I had a blast performing together, but if so, for somebody that's not Italian, maybe, or somebody that's new to dance that you started at, in college, what would you tell them to join us?
If you want to learn how to dance, you got to start taking classes.
Yeah, you got to
You got
start
to show
somewhere.
up.
You got to
Yeah. And
show
I
up.
think this would be a perfect place to start because it's all good fun. No one's showing up to try to do one of those,
So,
Broadway dance classes. Although
right.
I do think we are of that quality. That's besides the point.
Yeah, there's no triple pirouettes or like a
Yeah.
toe touch in these things, but you're going to learn some basic movement. You're going to
Yeah.
learn partner work.
And
And
it's so much fun.
we talk about so much of what you learn from taking a folk dance or traditional dance. You learn life lessons. And
Yeah.
that's what we talk about here on the dance floor. You're going to look at somebody in the eye when you dance with them. You're going to learn how to be a partner, a leader, and a follower part. And like you said, gosh, it's so much fun. So
Yeah.
join us on one of those dates, either in Pittsburgh or in Long Island City, New York. And then I'll be giving some more workshops throughout the year, but those are the next ones coming up March 2nd and May 4th. In the meantime, gosh, Sean, I wish you the best. I know we'll be in touch soon. We'll get back on the podcast and talk about some other future projects as they come closer to the time. Thank you for being here and sharing your wisdom.
Thank you for having me, Anna.
Well, thanks everyone for listening today. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'm your host, Anna Harsh. And until next time, keep moving on the dance floor.